Hi, it's Jason Sweezy here, and I've come up with a few systems over the years. You might know me from my first one. It was called Forex Pipsnagger, and then I came out with a few more called 1 Hour Forex, and just recently Forex Trendmaster. But anyway, it's here or there. We have Russ Horn here on the horn, I guess you could say, and. And I want to just ask him a few questions as he's coming out with a new system. And I'll have to say, before I even start asking him any questions, his last system was just utterly amazing. It was called the Forex Master Method. And when he came out with that, I was thinking to myself, I don't think he could top this one, but maybe he has this time. So let's ask Russ a few questions and see what he says. So how you doing today, Russ?
Hey, Jason. I am great. I'm fantastic. And thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that master method was a definite master for sure.
Yeah, it worked good.
Yeah. So I have a few questions for your new system. It's called the rapid results method, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So would you say that your new rapid results method is comparable to the Forex Master method?
I would say that the success rate with it is comparable. It's a decent trading system. Been working on it for quite a while, but it's a different trading system. If you know Forex Master method, this one is very different. It takes a totally different approach. Because I know, from one trading system or from one trader to the next trader, they don't all kind of get the same thing out of the same system. So the whole point behind this was to take an extremely different angle to trading the markets. And that's what went into the rapid results method.
Oh, great stuff. So how much time was spent on the development of the rapid results method?
I worked on this thing. It's been kind of in development for about 3 years, and it's sort of the culmination of all the extra stuff that I wasn't able to put into either the Rebellion or the FMM method. And then over the last year, I've had different fund traders kind of test it out with me. So I'd come up with these tweaks or these additional concepts, and then I'd have some actual pro traders trade it. And they would give me their feedback, and we went from there. So it's been kind of half in development for about 3 years, but like fully in production development for the last year.
Wow, that's a long time for sure. So it must be something real good, I'm sure.
Want to do enough testing to make sure that it does actually fit the bill. Because the master method was a decent system, and I can't do something similar. I try to always raise the bar, so that's why this one took as long as it did.
Wow. Okay. So would you say it's a simple system or a complex system, or?
It's fairly simple. There's different aspects to it. Was it Albert Einstein? He said, make it as simple as possible, but not simpler. And I think this applies to this system. There's a few moving parts to it. I've developed a custom indicator for it as well. So it's not just as simple as, well, if price crosses this line, you either enter the trade. There's a little bit to it, but it's not complicated. It really isn't. It's very easy to understand. You'd get it in a day, and it's not a super complicated system. But again, there are a couple of different moving parts, and they all kind of work together, and they, you get A filters B and B filters C kind of thing, but it's not a complicated system.
Great. And are the setups frequent?
They are. Yeah, I mean, that's really a good thing about this is, I know traders, they don't want to wait for too long to find a nice trading setup. And as I get older, that's sort of what I'm looking for too. Like I don't want to waste too much time in front of my computer. So I'm going to be looking for the setups that are fairly frequent. Excuse me. And this one, I've managed to test extensively on the 5-minute and even the 1-minute time frame. So there are going to be setups every not every few minutes, but very regularly. You're going to find a setup, every hour pretty much if you're looking at some of the different smaller time frames. So yeah, during the London session especially, you're going to find enough trade setups to make it worth your while.
Oh, that's terrific. So it's kind of a scalping system on the 1 minute and maybe a little bit of a in and out day trading system on the 5 minute.
Absolutely. And it works on all the different time frames. If you're more of a swing trader, it works on the daily, it works on the weekly. Like, it works clear across the board. Every single time frame it works nicely on.
Wow, that's really good, because there's a lot of systems. Sometimes they only work on a few different time frames, and this one works on all of them. That's terrific.
Yeah. This is good. We put a lot of effort into making sure that was the case. From the other systems, I learned that there are those individuals that do want to trade the longer time frames. They're a little more comfortable with trading a 4-hour or a daily. But then there's those traders that just want to get in, get out, be done for their day, and do that, as fast as possible. So having this work on the 5 minute, the 1 minute's pretty choppy and it's difficult to trade, but it is tradable. I prefer the 5 minute myself, but there are trade setups and clear and winnable trade setups on the really small time frames.
Oh, okay. So you're also saying that it does have some custom made indicators, or there's
one that it's kind of a mash of different indicators, and it evaluates, I guess the best word is the weight of certain slower and quicker indicators. And this particular one is called the DPI. It's an indicator like nobody's ever seen before. It's a really versatile indicator, and it can be used in quite a few ways. And it's one of the most exciting parts of the system.
Oh, wow. So are these indicators easy to use, like in a user-friendly way, or?
They're very clear. They're color-coded. There's red and yellow and a blue line that kind of runs through it. And they're very, very easy to use. Once you see the indicator, it's almost instinctive. Like you'll pick it up very quickly. You'll know how to use it just by looking at it.
Okay. So how long would it take a trader to learn and start trading with your rapid results method?
If you sit down with the manual, you could have it done in the course of a couple hours and be trading with it. It's really simple enough that you don't have to learn anything crazy or change your way of thinking. There's a few rules, and once you see what it looks like on the charts, it becomes pretty clear. So you won't take more than a couple hours at most. If that's what you wanted to do, was just sit down, learn it, get trading with it, a couple hours should do it for you.
Yeah, that's what a lot of traders want.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah. So does this have anything to do with hedging, or?
No hedging. I know the traders in the States aren't allowed to anymore. The regulations are so that you can't place trades two different directions on the same currency pair. And that really is taken into consideration. So this is, it's not a hedging trading system. It's got nothing to do with that. So we're good that way.
Right. So it doesn't matter. Any American trader with any leverage or any, first one on, first one off, everything's good to go, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That FIFO and
FIFO. Yeah.
It accommodates everything. It was tested with that 50-to-1 leverage, and it was really tweaked for, well, I shouldn't say tweaked, but it was tested with the American regulations, the limitations that they now have. So this system was built kind of around those regulations. We had those in mind. So all the accounts that we set up, of course, were 50-to-1 leverage, and no hedging, and first in, first out kind of thing. So it's good for everybody.
That's great. So is this a counter trend trading system?
Initially, it was not a counter trend trading system, but it has counter trend trading abilities. We can indeed counter trend trade with it. It is more of a trend following system, but there are It has that power. It has that ability to do the counter trend trading, and you get in on the right counter trend trades, not just the pullbacks, but the actual counter trend trades when the market is going to move in the opposite direction. But to begin with, we start out learning how to trade the trend. And that's where most of the trades are. That's where the safest trades are. And as you know, the traders, they want to be as safe as possible when starting a new trading system. So the most reliable trades are what we learn first. And then we get into some of the more aggressive, some of the more tricky trades, the counter trend trading. So it does do everything.
Great. So it can trade trending if you want, or counter trending. Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's good.
That's part of the secret. I mean, that's where all the signals come from. So we can trade in both directions if there is a signal to do so.
Right. So is there certain pairs that you can trade it on, or can you just trade it on any old pair?
You can trade it on whatever pair you want to. Over the last year, I found that if you're going to trade the really small time frames, like the 1 minute or the 5 minute, that the Euro USD, the Pound USD, and the Australian Dollar USD, those are the ones that I personally stick to when I'm trading like the 1 minute time frame. But it works on all the different currency pairs if you're trading 15 minutes and higher. So if you've got a currency pair that you like, then it'll work for that.
So like on exotic pairs like the Euro Yen, Pound Swiss, or Pound Yen, you'd take it on a 15-minute or higher. That's what you're saying? That's
what I prefer. I mean, they do work on the 5 and the 1 minute, but I find that a lot of the different pairs that aren't those three that I had mentioned can get very choppy on the 1 minute. So when you're looking at either a 5 or a 15, it really does start to smooth out and they become a lot safer to trade.
Right. Okay. So what kind of drawdown would we expect when we're trading this system?
Not much. There's very clear rules as far as to what the risk is. So if you're going to lose anything, for me personally, it's kind of the same from system to system. I've got some very hard and fast rules as far as what your risk is. And for me, I never risk more than 2% on a trade. And the money management, or the trade management is so that almost right away, like the next candle that shows up, you're already starting to move that stop loss towards the entry. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles into the trade, you're almost at break even. So the drawdown is really very minimal.
Okay. And what kind of win-loss ratio will we get if we follow all the rules to a T?
If you follow the rules to a T, a lot of the beta testers and some of the guys that have been trading it have been getting fairly regular, about 80%. This is not a number that I like to kind of throw out there because it is pretty high. So I'm going to say 75%. 75% win-loss ratio.
Okay, so I guess maybe I kind of worded that a little wrong. Let me rephrase that. So what I kind of mean is if say you get in a trade and your stop is, say, 25 pips, would the target be 25 pips or would it be 50? So would it be 2 to 1 or 1 to 1? What would it be?
The risk reward ratio is about, it starts out as 1 to 1. It's the safest to get, and that almost always gets your profit target hit. Market doesn't have to struggle to reach for it. And because you're moving your stop loss almost right away, you very rarely get stopped out on that full 1 risk. So there is, it's the safest way that I've figured is that 1-to-1 ratio, but there are ways to stretch that out. If you prefer a 2-to-1 ratio or a 3-to-1 ratio, I show you how to do that as well. But the initial setting is 1-to-1.
Okay. So what kind of account size would one need to start trading with the rapid results method?
You don't need anything very big. What I actually suggest is once you have gone through the demo account phase and you're ready to trade live, start with the smallest account your broker will allow you to trade with. So if and generally that's around $250. So if you are going to open up a live account, I suggest that you start with the smaller account first. Start with the $250 or $200, whatever that little account is that your broker suggests. You can always add more later, but you don't need to start with more than what the minimum is.
Right. So you don't need to put $10,000 in or something like that.
No, you don't. No.
Okay. Well, that's good because, as most traders, they usually start with 500 to 1,000. So
yeah, you can do that. You can do that if you want, but my suggestion is start with even less until you get familiar with how the live environment is, and that you can actually make some money with it in that live environment. Add up to 1,000 or whatever you want to afterwards, but I always suggest that you start off with as little as possible.
Right. Okay. So basically, they can use mini lots or micro lots. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So would you say that, from most advanced to even a complete newbie, they could learn and trade your system successfully? Or
yeah, I think some new traders actually would have an advantage. As you know, when you start trying to educate people that have been around the block for a little while, they have kind of these preconceived notions, or they've learned some habits. New traders don't have these, so they'll have a good time with it. It'll be fairly easy to do, and in the members area, there is a whole section, and in one of the DVDs, it's just for brand new traders. So if you're brand new at it, you're going to have good time with it. You'll figure it out really quick. And if you've been trading for a while, you're not going to have any problems trading this. It's really kind of simple for everybody.
Right. So, I know you probably designed this, around the Forex market. So I was just wondering, could you use this in other markets, say the futures markets or even the stock market?
I've looked at some stocks, Apple, Google, gold, different vehicles, and it works really well, clear across the board.
Oh, that's great. So even on gold, it works as good as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's really moving these days, a few hundred pips in a day.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though they're not really called pips, but I guess that's all we could call them because they're on the Forex charts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess that's all the questions I have today, Russ. Is there anything more that maybe you'd like to add that I didn't cover? Or
no, I think we're good. I just want to mention this doesn't invalidate any other trading systems. What it does do, though, is present you with another option. I know that not every trader can, feels the same about trading a certain trading system. Traders and systems kind of have to fit in order to get the best out of both. So what the rapid results method does is attempt to kind of fill a gap that maybe traders are finding they have. If the different system that they're using isn't doing what they think it should do, they're not winning as much as they think they should. They're not as comfortable with the trading systems they have that they think maybe they should be. This rapid results method really is kind of designed to help fill that hole. This might be the system you're looking for if nothing else has been working for you up until now. This is very different than all the other systems. So if you're having trouble with some other systems, this could be exactly what it is you're looking for.
Yeah, well, that's what we're all been looking for. So that's good stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, for answering all these questions. I'm going to share this with all my followers, and so that they'll have more of a, an understanding and broad view of what they'll get if they decide to try the rapid results method.
Well, I appreciate you having me here, Jason. It's always a pleasure talking to you. You're a great guy. You're one of the few in the business that you're a stand-up guy. You're a real guy. And we seem to be fewer and far between these days. So it's always a pleasure talking to you. You know your stuff, and I appreciate you having me here.
Okay, that's great. And I appreciate having you here too to do this interview.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So you have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jace. You take care.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.